Hey, what is up, everyone? It is Rich. In fact, someone said that that could be my quote. Richard. Hey, everyone, it's Rich, friend. Welcome to a video. We're gonna do Sim Cerebus today. It's a treat for me, a treat for you, and a welcome home gift for my friend James Smith, who had a stroke about 2 months ago, and he finally gets to go home today. And he got home to KFAB. What was it? It was a Jim Rugg. Jim Rugg's comic books had arrived for him, and also a really cool European book that had a bunch of really kick-ass Mobius in it. But James is a huge Cerebus fan. I'm a huge Dave Sim and Gerhard fan. I'll be honest, I've never read the full series, not even close. I've worked my way through the first phone book, but you know, as some people will know, Dave Sim held the record for the longest self-published comic book. And you know, it's interesting. I've said this, and obviously, congratulations to Todd. The interesting thing about Sim on this book is that he did in fact write it and draw it, and at times hand lettered it as well. And Dave's hand lettering is absolutely phenomenal. So Sim has done a lot of work on Cerebus. We'll just say that. But Todd did crack the record. But all due respect to Dave Sim, because he's a beast, and Gerhard does absolutely beautiful backgrounds for him. Gerhard didn't start on the book, but eventually came on, and they made sweet music together. So it's great. What's awesome about Cerebus for a multitude of reasons is, one, beautiful page design. You're gonna see not only beautiful compositions and beautiful execution of the compositions, but space, a sense of space and simplicity, and then detail, and these very warm quality illustrations. I feel like I'm describing like a food dish, like when Guy Fieri's like talking about, you know, like he has a plate of nachos at some diner, drive-in, or dive. He's like, you can really taste the da 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 da. But honestly, these guys are absolutely brilliant comic book artists, and it's exciting because they're self-publishers, and it's just a neat thing. Sorry, settle in. Let's go into full screen mode. I wanted to give a shout out real quick also to my Patreon, and thank everyone that signed up. We have tons and tons of new people heading over there. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to finish the Blaster Kid script. I thought I was going to be able to finish it last night, but actually doing dialogue for 48 pages and making sure that everything is like spot on, not spot on. I mean, I don't want people to think I'm overthinking it. I mean, it's just it was more work than I thought. So I've got probably somewhere between 4 and 10 hours left to do on it today. But I will have the script finished tonight, definitely. I mean, I made a ton of progress on it last night, but I wanted to have a fully committed script that I could print out. I don't break down panels on the pages. I do it more as like, this page will have this. It's not Marvel style though. I mean, definitely have dialogue, but I just don't have to tell myself, hey, panel 1 should be this, panel 2 should be this. I just know how much distance I want to cover in each page, and I block it out that way with the dialogue. But I wanted to be very specific with it because there's some, you know, fun puzzle pieces that I have to orchestrate properly to have a compelling story and mystery and tons of adventure and action. Just, it's like, you know, it's got to be on point. Sorry, let's look at Dave Sim. I'll have links to Sim in the description box. He is on YouTube every Friday. Usually for me, I think Thursday night it will go up. But he does post on YouTube every week, and go support him if you choose to. So anyway, beautiful little shot of Cerebus laying in bed. He's dreaming. He's going home. I think this is from the 4th or 5th Cerebus collection. I have all the phone books. I slowly cobbled them together. I bought all the back issues that I could get, except for the really expensive first ones, and I got those in reprints that Dave did. So I've stepped up and bought a lot of Cerebus. I love this little town down here. This is just a great page. So let's keep going. Again, just fantastic storytelling. I love the position of this. You've just got this beautiful shape that points in here. We've got these, you know, in a way it sort of divides time. It's these very equal things. It frames the sky perfectly. I mean, you even get the little sort of sound effect, clack, the door shutting, you know, or starting to open. I think that's it. And we cut to the inside. Oh, the back of Cerebus's head. That's his collar. This is a great shot. It was interesting. I was looking at a Mark Silvestri. He has two sketchbooks that he did through Top Cow, and one of them he had like a 2-page spread bar scene that I hadn't really seen before, but it was really fun to see how he played with the perspective. It was sort of like a science fiction bar, but it looked legit, but everything was floating, so bar stools and tables and stuff like that had no gravity to them, and it was pretty cool. Oh, look, he's got like one of those water sticks. That's really nice. This is really cool. How many of you have read Cerebus? And then obviously the next big question would be, how many of you have read it all? Because that's a Herculean task for sure. Man, I love the layout of this page. It's so good and so clear, and then just enough detail and just enough empty space. He's the best, man. I have a few people on Patreon that could actually learn a lot from this that I've done reviews and lessons for. So you guys probably know who you are, but I would say that I have 4 or 5 people that in very broad strokes are attempting to do stuff similar to this. They may not be influenced by this work, but this would definitely benefit all of them. Because you've got your black, you've got your white, it's high contrast. People are always interested in rendering and cross-hatching and lighting things. And, you know, it's just one of those things. I think that if you do detail all the time, it's just overwhelming. But this, to me, is such a beautiful blend of detail and then just space. I can enjoy it all, you know? And these pages that are more simplistic, I enjoy just as much. So sometimes you don't have to work yourself to death as an artist to actually impress people. Sometimes your judiciousness with the detail can be rewarded by people going like, man, this is cool. Some of the covers are absolutely beautiful too, of the not only the comics but the phone books, but the covers are great. There's I actually, 2 of the peripheral books that I have are, I have Dave Sim's Guide to Self-Publishing, which I would highly recommend. Get the reprint of it though, because he added more pages, and also it's sort of the original version that he did. Comics had evolved a lot between the first version and the second, so it is the one case where I would say get the reprint of it, which came out a few years later, and it's actually cheaper. But you get more pages and more things that might be relevant today. And then also there's a Cerebus cover gallery that's phenomenal, and if I haven't looked at it in a little while, but I think it's not just covers, but maybe some of the sketches and prelim stuff too, so it's really good. I got it on Amazon, surprisingly cheap. And I don't know if David want me to say this, although I don't think he would mind. 'Cause I actually talked to Dave Sim on the phone one time, not too long ago, but maybe 3 years ago. But he'll actually pick up the phone and answer it if you call him. I don't remember how I got the number, if it was through his website or something like that, but like I called to order books, and he either called me back, like I left a message and he called me back, or he actually picked up the phone. I can't remember, but yeah, it was a trip. I talked to Dave Sim on the phone. Dude's a freaking comic book legend. Be like, you know, he's one of the very you know, in terms of self-publishing, I guess him and Kevin Eastman, for their era, were #1. Then you've got the Image guys, and then you've got Ethan Van Sciver tearing it up with his Comicsgate stuff, which people are like, whoa. But, I mean, just talking about the most successful publishers. It was interesting, is I want to do a video where I cover self-publishing, but I wasn't sure where it all started in terms of like National Lampoon and a lot of the underground stuff that was going on out of like Frisco. Was it some of it spilled over from like adult magazines, like the art in the back? I wasn't really sure, but I thought it would be interesting to do maybe like a at least a video kind of covering that. I've liked that. I like the punk rock attitude towards self-publishing, the do-it-yourself attitude of it. I like that it's usually edgy, it's counterculture, it's thumbing its nose at authority. Like all that stuff is just really, really, I think, appealing to me. And honestly, I mean, it's funny because a lot of the people that are self-publishing now are basically children of Image. I am. It was the Image comic founders that planted the seed in me to even get interested in comics. So they're my role model. I never had an opportunity to do what they did until now. But the irony is that it's like you're going against, I mean, like I worked with Jim Lee at Wildstorm, but it's I don't have anything against Jim personally. I love him. But yeah, it's tricky because it's it's like you're going like I want to do my own books. I don't want to work for Marvel or DC. This is my time. Cerebus, he's thinking about it. He's like, that's a complicated situation to be in, Rich. Like, I know. I like everyone. Oh, it's so cool. And again, look at the detail in this panel. So he's got Zipatone on Cerebus. Very, very simple lines on the things that he wants to breathe. He's got that nice cross-hatching effect. The bottle sort of pops with the lack of detail on it, and then this nice texture on this background, and then this nice texture here. And between all those different things, it really reads clear. I mean, it's expertly done, which was why I chose it. Look at this. This is great. This is interesting. And Sim is very controversial. I don't know the whole story behind Dave and everything that went on with him. I really kind of just know the comic books, but I know he's had his fair share of critics based on things that he's done or said or written. I don't even know. Bartender, bring me a hat with a hole in it. I don't know why it reminds me of David Lee Roth in the video for Yankee Rose. He goes, "Give me a glazed donut and a bottle of anything to go." Dave did funny videos if you're a David Lee Roth fan. Alright, these aren't as interesting as I thought they might be. Cerebus can be very, very wordy. It's like you turn the page and you're just like, oh my god, I'm going to be reading this for like 10 minutes. But that's sort of the fun of it. He's been reprinting some of these too. Beautiful, beautiful reproductions of these books. Oh, this is cool. And it's interesting too, is I mean, it basically starts off being a parody of like Conan and the Conan adventure stories, and just completely evolved into so many different things. It's crazy what went on. I almost did a video today on low pop surrealism. Lowbrow pop surrealism. That was what I was almost going to do it, but I was like, nah, do something comic booky. And I really want to do that self-publishing, sort of like the rebels of self-publishing kind of thing. Larry Flint and, like I said, National Lampoon and, you know, who knows? Just there's so many that you could touch on. And, but that would take work. I mean, like, you know, where like you'd have to really sort of like do your homework and then edit the video and stuff like that. At some point I will do it though, because I think it's something that I've been interested in for a long time. I've got tons and tons of documentaries on it and tried to find as much as I could about a lot of the San Francisco sort of underground comics, because I think that that's a really interesting era of it too. we're edgy, man. I was, I grew up with like skate rat art and all that stuff. It was like lowbrow before low. Well, I mean, I guess it was considered lowbrow then. Something. Who knows? Oh, this is great. Yeah, it's really cool. He also, I don't know who would have drawn this. If this would be a Gerhard drawing or if this is Sim. Maybe Sim lays it out and then Gerhard finishes this. I wouldn't be sure on a panel like this. But the ink line that they use is really, really nice. I always enjoy seeing there's an organic quality to it. Like I would equate it to almost like the Charles Schulz, uh, you know, Calvin and Hobbes. It's not identical to that. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot more going on here than that. But there's a bounce to all the lines that are really clear. Maybe you see some crumb in there. But yeah, it's like tight but organic too. It's flat, but yet actually does have a bounce to it. So it doesn't feel flat at all, in fact. I picked most of these based on the thumbnails. There's some really, really cool stuff coming, though, for sure. We'll go through this. I think I was looking for stuff with value and detail, and then interesting layouts. This is funny. Okay. Man, he must have gone through a lot of Zipatone. Man, I opened a lot of these. I don't remember picking all these. Let's get to what I'm getting to. That's funny. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this is, I guess this is a 2-page spread. Wow, it's interesting. It's a curiosity to me that he did this panel break in it. So he's definitely trying to separate time in some way. That's really, really cool. Man, it's nicely drawn. So, I mean, my theory would be that this is all Gerhard, but I don't know that for a fact. The lettering could be Dave. And again, Dave may lay it out. If I'm not mistaken, I think that Gerhard actually did build a model of something. I don't know. I'm sure James will probably have 50 comments on this video because he knows everything about the book. But I think maybe the hotel that's in one of the parts of the story, Gerhard built like a model for that he could reference. It's nice. That to me is probably a Zipatone. This effect right here, I've seen that pattern before. I don't think it's stipple. Man, that's so nice. Mechanical tones. So that would lead me to believe that Gerhard does the zip even on Cerebus. Man, Dave must have been paying him a small fortune. Panel borders are interesting on this. I remember seeing this. I'm assuming that's a Zipatone effect, but I don't know that for a fact. There's some really, really cool stuff coming up. Man, that's crazy. Whoa. Oh, it's his hand. I'm like, what is going on here, Cerebus? You need pants, little buddy. Jesus. That's really cool right here. I like this. I wish the reproductions were just a tiny bit better. I have to grab my books. I have 4 on my bookshelf in here in my studio. I have a ton, and like I said, I bought all the comics because the comics, especially there's a series of reprints that they did that has a lot more in it. I wanted the letters column because he writes a lot, and so the letters columns were interesting too. There's a lot to it. Many levels of Cerebus collecting you could do. I just never have had the time to read it all. king of lies. Strike. Strike now. That is really cool. That's a photo stat. It looks cool though. Man, that's such a nice little sequence right there. That's cool too. Okay. I need to get to work, so I'm going to wrap this up because it's time to get on Blaster Kid, friends. Yeah, I'll have the final script finished today. If I finish it early enough, I'm going to run down. I'm going to print it out. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to start doing like my final thumbnails. I have done quite a few thumbnails for the book, but I want to do it in order, and also obviously then want to be pretty critical of the storytelling choices that I make when I see it all like laid out. But I'm actually going to lay the whole book out. That way you can kind of meditate on it, you know what I mean? Like it's like if you have an idea down, then you can always change that idea or keep it. But if you just go like, oh, you know, in 15 pages I've got that sequence with da 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 da, I mean, you can definitely pre-visit in your mind, think about the shots that you might want to use and stuff like that. But I would rather have a sketch down where I have something more concrete, and I think it definitely will reaffirm it in your mind. It was interesting too. I talked about this a little bit on some Instagram posts. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, I would recommend it. But you know, I've done multiple passes through the script in different ways. I've done just sort of quick writes where like some of my early ideas where I would just jot down big ideas. Blaster Kid is this. It's gonna be this type of story. I mean, you're painting in real broad strokes. Then you know, I would have scenes that I wanted to do, like something like this where it's like Blaster Kid is gonna fight the masked villain in this dark room or whatever, and then, you know, you have to kind of go like, all right, well, who is this guy? Why are they even dealing with each other? You know what I mean? And then pieces of the puzzle start to come together. How did Cerebus get here? I mean, it's a multi-tier sort of thing. But what ended up happening was is you end up with, like, you know, 5 or 6 sort of slightly different versions of it. And they're all interesting, and some drift down pathways that you just don't end up exploring. You know, you have scenes that maybe you were like, maybe I could do this. And, you know, sometimes they come out quick. You know, you're able to write the idea or the scene, you know, quickly. It doesn't mean it's a bad scene. It just doesn't fit in this story at this time. And so then I did summaries. So I would do like where you break it down and you go like pages 1 through 3 will be this, and, you know, you might add details and whatnot. And then I had done that a couple of times, different times, not like back to back. And then I mentioned that I did. It's funny because it looks like the singer of Rat, but it's like got the death symbol. Then there was 2 big plot points that I couldn't seem to come to what I would consider a happy conclusion with it or decision. And they were big things that it was like it was gonna go one way or the other, and the other one was like, you know, like how do you get from here to here kind of thing. And I sat down in front of a video camera and just told the whole story to myself, and talked it out. And it was interesting because when I finished it, I really actually had solved the problems. And then what I did last night was I went, and I've listened to it before, but I actually sat down and wrote with it, and, you know, eliminated things that I didn't like and kept the things that I do like. But when I finish the script, I'm actually going to read the script to myself one time and just get it on at least audio, if not video too, and then just throw it on my phone, and then at night listen to it and just listen to myself tell the story while I'm working on it. Because it's like, you know, writing a story and then telling the story to me are 2 different things in some respects. Because when you're writing it, it's a personal thing. You're just trying to express things. You're trying to organize ideas. You're trying to get information down. You're crafting it. But when you tell the story, then it's a story, and it has to make sense, and it has to be able to face questions. Like, why did that happen? That doesn't make sense. Rich, what are you trying to get away with here? That kind of thing. So yeah, it's interesting. It's fun, but it's nearly done. The thumbnails will be fun. I did some thumbnails the night before last, and it was really really cool. And I'm just so much better at drawing now. So it's fun. It's easy. I hate to say easy, but it's storytelling to me is easier than laying out a cover or pinup. Honestly, I don't know why that is, but I think covers and pinups are way more challenging. So I think for me, a lot of it is that I want something that looks original, and so many covers have been created. It's like it always will remind you. It's like, oh, I don't want a person standing there looking straight at you, and then it's like if you do this, it's too similar to that. So with the storytelling, I think there's a uniquer set of things that you're trying to orchestrate, whereas a cover, generally speaking, if it's just a character cover, we've probably seen it before. All right, have a great day. Hopefully that was fun to listen to, and yeah, stay tuned for more Blaster Kid. All right, bye.